All right, Chattanooga, we are back on the air. We've had a little commercial break, and we still are hosting our infamous, legendary Mr. Johnny D. Holloway on the show. And I'm going to take a little moment here to give a special shout out in lieu of Black History Month to the Usher Raymond, who is going to be performing live at the halftime show of Super Bowl 58. They're in Las Vegas, Nevada tomorrow. And I'm going to be at my party. I hope you all are going to have a place where you all can watch the game. I don't know who you're rooting for, but I know it's Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. But it's going to come
Can you feel that?
at
It's
6.
like heaven and earth moves whenever we touch.
Stuff
Don't for
going
real, I know
on
you
right
feel that.
now. But
The
you all make
universe approves
sure
when you
that
and
you all
I
tune in
dance.
and watch that
All a gift in
halftime show. I
heaven,
am ready.
say
I've
things
already got
like
my Usher Raymond t-shirt,
yeah.
baby.
We're too
I'm
early
gonna
to
be sitting
leave
for me
the
to be
grave.
enjoying
All night
friends
screaming, I
and folks
testify
that
that's
are having a big Super Bowl
heaven.
party. We're
Ooh,
gonna share.
screaming, I
We're gonna
testify
share
that we'll survive the test of time. They can't
this.
deny our
Mr.
love.
Raymond,
They can't
Chattanooga
fight us. We'll
made it.
survive the
Oh yeah,
test
it's
of
about to go
time. I
down
swear that
tomorrow. So
I'll
you
be
all make sure you
ready.
get
Next to you,
somewhere and
next to
watch that game. Also
you.
tonight, the Chattanooga Homage Tribute is going on at downtown at the Mountain City Club. And we are honoring Miss Denise Dave, Chattanooga's queen, for all of her awesome entertainment and entrepreneur things that she's done. And it's just going to be a big celebration. I'm going. Me and a whole lot of other my friends are going to pay a tribute to her. It's going to be a 5-course meal. So we are going to have us a good time. About 9 entertainers performing. It's going to be good. And then don't forget, also, this is Black History Month, so we're giving it to all of y'all. We're giving it to you on the 24th and a repeat of it on the 25th. Mr. Devon Cooper, the owner of Devon Cooper Studio, is going to be showing his movie premiere, Unsaved, right here at the Auburn Park Community Center, the Chattanooga Civic Center at Mountainside. It is a red carpet event, food and everything, and a comedian to get the show started. That's on a Saturday, and if you can't come Saturday, you can come to the movie premiere on Sunday, the following day. And y'all, I know the food is going to be good, but the show, Unsaved, nobody has seen this movie yet, including me. So I don't know, but we had the cast on WPTP last week. They all drove in from Atlanta and everywhere, and it was an awesome show. So go back and watch that show if you get a chance. But we are just doing it real big for Black History Month. And shout out to all of you other organizations and people that are doing great things to pay tribute to Black history, because Black history is African American and American history. So we've done a lot of great things. And one of the things that we're going to get to here in just a minute is what we're doing here at the Chattanooga Civic Center. And we've got one of the greatest sitting to my left. And we're going to talk about the African American Black History, Heritage, and Culture Museum and all the exhibits that we are busy taking in and putting up to showcase and allow you all to come through and learn Black history. Learn it raw, learn it cooked, learn it baked, fried, boiled. You're going to learn and know Black history, because this man sitting to my left has donated tons of archives and historical pictures and portraits of the past to our museum. And we're just super excited about that. We didn't even get to that part because we just learned about the man sitting here to my left. And we're about to go to part 2 now, where we're going to talk about he's back in Chattanooga. He hadn't started his family yet, but he's about to. He's just been released from the military or left the military, and now he's back in Chattanooga, and things are on fire in Chattanooga. This is a civil rights movement era, and Black folks just can't get no respect around here. And so I'm going to let him talk about the Black Panther. How did you get tied up with the Black Panther?
Well, before we
Come on.
before we get to the Black Panther, I'd like to talk to you about how I got involved in the movement here.
Yeah, the movement. Yes.
Well, when I came to Chattanooga, I just about given up on the Black church.
Mm,
I didn't think they was doing anything, not anything I thought they should do that I thought was a Christian thing to do.
right.
And so I was just looking around for somebody to hook up with that I thought was working at the problem the right way, which would mean my way.
Right. Right.
And the only fella I saw was Reverend Wright, H. Wright.
I heard that name over and over and over. We got a screen. We're not on screen. Are we seeing?
And
Yes.
so
Okay. All right.
so I hooked up with Reverend Wright, started the Action Coordinating Council, and we did a lot of good things with the Action Coordinating Council. And Reverend Wright was
H.H. Wright.
was a real activist preacher. He was the kind of preacher that I would say that when you saw him, you saw a sermon. You didn't have to hear one.
Okay.
And that's
All
what I
right.
like in my
Everybody knows him.
Yeah.
Everybody that has been a part of Chattanooga and know anything about the movement
preacher.
will tell you Reverend H.H. Wright was the man in
That's
that
right.
era.
And so he was the only one, as far as I'm concerned, working from the grassroots up. And that's where I like to work. I like to work from the grassroots up. I'm not interested in being on too many boards or being an elected official. I just like to work from the grassroots up and work with young people. I just love working with young people.
Yes.
And that's what I want to do in church, to work with young people. But I wasn't into that Christian thing too deep. So they thought I wasn't the right person to do some things with young people. But I knew that, and this is when I really got into the institutions.
Okay.
And the only institution I found in the Black community was the church.
It was the church.
And so I was going to try to hook up with the church and try to, you got to have, if you're going to be effective, you got to have an institution and you got to have a group. You got to have some people with you.
Can't do it by yourself,
Can't
y'all.
do it by yourself like I was trying to do it in my young days. I learned that lesson.
You got to go in unison with a group of people.
And so the only group I thought was doing anything at that time was Reverend H. Wright.
Okay.
The Action Coordinating Council. And we did some good things. We'll talk about that. But that's how I got started in the movement. Reverend Wright was part of SCLC.
Okay. What was the atmosphere like in Chattanooga? Because you said a movement and you're in Chattanooga. I know it's happening worldwide. It was nationwide. But in Chattanooga, kind of paint a picture of what it was like to live in Chattanooga and why was this movement so necessary? Because Martin Luther King even came to Chattanooga. He talked about, the mountain, Lookout Mountain, let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain in his speech. So it was something going on in Chattanooga. Now, I mean,
well, Chattanooga is a unique place.
Mhm.
It's too small to be called a big city. It's too big to be called a little town. So it's a big little town.
Big little town. Never heard it described that way. A big little town.
And we have, I think at one time, we had more millionaires for any city this size in the nation.
Okay.
We got a bunch of rich people in this town.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a curse and also a blessing.
Okay. All right.
Look at it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I learned when I started working with Reverend Wright, that I also work in the TVA at the same time.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that caused a lot of conflict with a lot of Black people because I worked at TVA and then I was doing all this activist stuff with Reverend Wright.
You're supposed to have a certain behavior you work with TVA.
Yeah, this just don't mix.
Mm-hmm.
So Black people started taking bets that I don't last at TVA.
Black folks now.
Yeah.
What the white folks, Black folks. You cause the trouble for Black folks.
They were taking bets that I don't make it 32 years at TVA, but I did because I don't break the law.
Oh, go back to what you said.
Yes, I don't
break. You got your books and you know the law. Okay, what you gonna arrest me for? I didn't do that.
That's right. I didn't even carry a penknife in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't carry matches.
Okay, you tell me about that later. But no pitches, no matches, and no knives, no weapons.
No weapons.
No weapons.
And so Reverend Wright was the kind of guy that I thought we became what we call the instant pickets. We thought everybody was wrong in America. We didn't have to talk to nobody. We just pick them.
Just pick them.
Just go out there and pick it because everybody's wrong.
Everybody.
Ain't nobody right but us.
Just a rebel. Y'all just rebel. Just running around, just starting stuff.
And so Any problem we had, we thought you just need to put a picket sign. So we was an instant picket. We used to carry a picket sign in the back of our car. We just picket anybody.
Get out of the car and jump out, and you got your sign.
Yeah, we got our
Wow.
sign. That's one thing we did. And another thing we did, we tried to remove all of the Avondale. I mean, Churchville especially had a lot of everybody dumped on Churchville. All the people had business come and bring they trash and dump it in Churchville.
Mhm.
So we gonna clean up Churchville. So we cleaned it up, but it took a little while and it was a struggle. But we finally got a lot of the dumps removed from Churchville, and we also didn't like the way the garbage people picked up our garbage.
Okay.
And they left our garbage can any kind of way.
Because it's majority black in Churchville,
Yeah.
so the black folks was kind of clumped together in
Yeah.
one community.
Yeah, and so a lot of people was complaining about how the garbage man just leave garbage out in the street.
Mm-hmm.
They came to us and started talking about the problem. So we said, okay, let us just see how they do it in other neighborhoods. So we followed them around in the white neighborhoods, and the white people didn't even have to put their garbage out in some neighborhoods.
They
just
go
come up-
walk up and pull it.
Yeah, and go get them and everything. If they strip it, they sweep it up and everything. We took pictures of it.
Wow. When is some treating?
And I said, ain't this something? And so we made a big issue of that. We made a big issue on how the garbage people pick up garbage in our neighborhood. That's crazy, ain't it?
But now, really, it's not. It's like you weren't worthy of getting decent service. You know, you ought to be glad they even come on your street.
And we didn't have street sweepers come to our street. We didn't have street sweepers come to. I came home one day and saw this mark in my street. But a street sweeper came in the street. I said, "What the heck is this?" I said, "Where this mark come from?" You know how they leave a mark when you go down the street.
Yeah.
I said, "What did that?" And so what I found out that they started sweeping our streets. I said, "Why they doing this?" I'm always asking questions of myself.
Right.
And while they was doing that, they was sending our neighborhood up to be, well,
Go ahead,
I call it gentrifying. They're gonna
They're gonna
gentrify.
gentrify it out. Okay.
And sure enough, I got more white neighbors than I got black neighbors now.
Right. That's happening all over America.
That's happening all over America, same place. But that's another story.
Yeah, we're gonna come back and talk about gentrification because that's happening. But go ahead. So now you're protesting away, and you got something done about it, but it was for another reason. They started cleaning it up, but it was because they were gonna really clean it up.
Yeah.
I mean, cleaning black folks out too.
Well,
And
that
your
happened over a long period of time, but
Mhm.
it happens. And so that was one of our major issues is trying to get the dumps out of our neighborhood.
Mhm.
And we were successful at it. And also some people talk about jobs, and we start looking for jobs for people, and we start trying to find jobs for people. And in the meantime, I'm doing my thing at TVA. I'm still protesting there too. And so I joined the Junior Chamber of Commerce. I joined the Junior League. I joined all these things because I'm getting ready to join the NACP.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined all these things, and they let me go out take lunches with them, and I come back an hour later, and they don't say nothing. So I joined the NACP. This is also a civic organization.
Right.
But when I take off to go work with them, they start arguing about it. They said, "You can't do that." I said, "How come I can't do that? I do that with Junior Chamber of Commerce. What's the difference?"
Okay.
So you got to set them up. You just can't start doing something. So I said, "You tell me what's the difference between the NACP and Junior Chamber of Commerce."
Okay.
So I'm not doing anything wrong. We're still giving service to the community. I'm just giving service to the white community over here and the black community over here.
Okay.
So what's the difference?
Right. Look at that.
And so another thing too, I work with the Black Panther Party. One thing I love the Black Panther Party. I wasn't a Black Panther first of all, but I supported them.
Okay.
And they had some very good programs. The breakfast program I loved. I used to buy groceries for the little children. I used to cook for the little children breakfast. I used to get up in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work too, and go up there and cook the breakfast for them little children.
Mm-hmm.
And they come in there and eat. And one of the byproducts of the breakfast program the Black Panther Party had was the reason Congress passed a bill to start the breakfast program in schools, public schools in Chattanooga,
Okay.
in all over the nation.
For the poor children.
They
Yeah.
couldn't let the Black Panther Party outshine them.
Oh, okay. Now I see. So the Black Panther was feeding these little hungry children
All over the nation.
all over the nation. And so they said, oh no, we got to do something. We can't,
Yeah.
I got you. We can't let them outdo the government.
That's right.
They're making us look bad.
That's right.
So they started
And
was it
then
the free lunch program
yeah,
or
no, the breakfast
the
program.
breakfast program? Okay.
The other thing is the sickle cell anemia program. I love the sickle cell anemia program because that really affects Black people.
Right. You're right.
And so we tried to get we got sickle cell anemia started in Chattanooga,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a whole long story to do why we did it. And when we used to give away groceries, anything that I thought was really good for poor people, I did. We had a prison program that when I finally got back in the church, and we was using our church van to allow the Black Panther Party to do the prison program.
Okay.
And so the Black Panther Party did some good work, but the government set them up.
Okay. Talk about the setup with the Black Panther Party.
Well, that starts with J. Edgar Hoover.
Okay. J. Edgar Hoover was the president.
No, he was over the FBI.
Oh yeah, FBI. Who am I thinking
Oh, the
about? I'm
FBI.
thinking about somebody else.
He was over
Over
the
the
FBI.
FBI.
And
what happened?
And he had undercover people to join the Black Panther Party to spy on them, and the police did too. And that was a real downfall of the Black Panther Party. They wasn't breaking the law now. If anybody followed the law, it was the Black Panther Party.
Mm-hmm. So the Black Panther Party was following the law, but they had people to join the Black Panther that were undercover
To
agents for the
subvert them,
FBI to
to
subvert them.
Now, Ralph Moore was the head of the Black Panther Party here, and they arrested him for extortion because he was trying to get stores to donate food. Red Food Store on 3rd Street is closed now. And so we trying to get Ralph Moore out of jail. And what they said to us said, if Ralph Moore would leave town, we'll let him out of jail. That's the agreement they had with us. So we called the Black Panther Party in California and told them what the situation was. And they said, well, he can come out here and work with the Black Panther Party. So we told them we would buy Ralph Moore a plane fare to go to California. And that's what he did. So he got out of jail. That's the kind of agreement they have in this town.
Wow.
They will put you in jail, but if you have too much influence, they will get you out of town.
Wow.
Because too many people was trying to get Ralph Moore lawyers, trying to get Ralph Moore out of jail, trying to get Ralph Moore back out so he could do what he was doing with the Black Panther Party. So they said, get him out of town.
Mm-hmm. So this problem will go away, and all this influence that he has, we won't have to deal with him no more.
That's right. That's what happened.
Wow.
So we agreed to it because we didn't want to be in jail, because we didn't know what was going to happen to him in jail.
Right. Because stuff do happen while you're incarcerated. You
That's
end
right.
up mysteriously dead.
And so we agreed to it, and we got Ralph Moore ticket, and so he went to California for a while, and he came back. But he didn't start the Black Panther Party back, but he just came back.
Okay. All right. So now the Black Panther Party movement, I know you all did a lot of things, and thank you for clearing that up about the Black Panther and the things that they did to improve the quality of life for Black people and poor people.
But what you don't understand is the Black Panther Party also talked to the American Indian on the reservation, and they were doing the same thing on the reservations.
Mm-hmm.
They talked to poor people in Appalachia, white people, and they was feed the children in Appalachia.
Mm-hmm.
See, the Black Panther Party was really reaching poor people all over this nation.
In general.
It didn't matter about the race.
Right.
But you wouldn't know it by listening to the news.
Well, we know about the news. They shape the stories how they want them. I'm a product of that.
So the Black Panther Party really had a real legacy that that reaches far beyond our
Mhm.
imagination.
And the way people think of them is really not right, the way they're thinking of them, because they didn't have the history.
But
right.
you got to understand, they also knew the Constitution.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get that.
They
You know
also
what? I'm
knew the
gonna get the
Constitution.
Constitution. You know, made me want to go out and get that and really read
Because
it.
when they challenge the police, they challenge the police on the Constitution,
Uh-huh.
what your rights are.
So we're talking about the Black History School and Chattanooga offering the Black History School through the Allen Park Development Corporation here at the Civic Center, and teaching the things that need to be taught, not just to Black people, but to white people too.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody needs to know the real history. And I like that about the Constitution. Everybody needs to know it. They need to know it.
Yeah, you got to have
You got to know the Constitution.
you got to know what you can do within the law if you
Mhm.
want to be a law abiding
I agree to
and
that.
still stretch the law.
Yes,
You got to challenge the law through the
Mhm.
law.
through the law. So we're gonna move on from the Black Panther, and we're gonna go on to Push Coalition.
Well,
So
now,
were you doing both at the same time?
well, that's a real interesting part. Well, what happened with the Push Coalition? Well, Reverend Richards
Mhm.
was got hold to, was working with some union at the time, and he was trying to unionize Erlanger.
Okay.
And it kind of got a little too big for Reverend Richards. So he came to the Action Coordinating Council, asked Reverend Wright if he would help him out. And so we said, yeah. So we trying to unionize Erlanger. Erlanger not unionized today.
Oh,
that
it was too big.
was a tough one, girl.
Okay.
But we did something to Erlanger, but we didn't unionize it. So
Wait, let's back up. Was it a particular reason why Erlanger in y'all's mind needed to be unionized? What was wrong with Erlanger then that unionizing it would make it better for Black folks?
well,
Imagine we're talking about
the
Black people.
basic things is salaries,
Salary, equal pay,
and also increased salaries for everybody.
fair salary. Mhm.
And the other thing is working conditions.
Ah,
That's what unions deal with
yes.
and all that stuff. And so I don't forget what union it was, but we was trying to unionize it. And so Reverend Richards came to the Action Coordinating Council. And at this time, somebody in the media was just talking, and they said, we're going to bring Reverend Jesse Jackson here. And the reaction in the community is when I felt that, I just saw it, and I said, man, we just got to make that happen. I went to the preachers and I told them, I said, one thing, we can move this thing along if we bring Reverend Jesse Jackson here. Didn't nobody know, wasn't close enough to Reverend Jesse Jackson to do it, but Reverend McDaniel, Reverend Richards, and Reverend Edwards, and Reverend Carwell, and all the preachers, that was active at that time, they kind of got their heads together, and they called him. And he said, I'll come if you would organize a chapter in Chattanooga.
Mm.
But before Reverend Jesse Jackson came here, he sent a team of 3 people in here to study Chattanooga. He knew as much about Chattanooga as I did when he came here.
Had educated himself.
About who was in Chattanooga, who's in the white community, chamber commerce. He knew the whole
running things.
He knew the whole thing when he came here, and that really amazed me. And so, well, when we got through dealing with Erlanger, and we was having dinner down at Reverend Richards Church on 9th Street.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, who's going to organize the chapter? And all the preachers turned to me and said, Johnny Holloway. That's the first I heard of it. Now, here it is at night. And I said, what y'all mean? We don't need another organization. We got too many organizations now. That's what I felt, that we was over-organized. And I'm saying the white power structure had over-organized Chattanooga. They let every 10 Black people had an organization in Chattanooga.
Just breaking down the strength
by
breaking us up in little mini. I call it little mini.
Everybody belonged to organization. And then nobody had more than 10 people in it.
And there wasn't no power in it because they was all divided. Yes, I feel that.
I said, why we need another organization? And so Reverend Jesse Jackson was touring Tennessee. So he said, man, this is at 9:00 at night now. He tells me I'm going with him across the state of Tennessee, and I got to go to work tomorrow. I said, this man got to be crazy. And I said, well, I can't go with you across the state of Tennessee while you do your tour. And he said, well, who your preacher? I said, Reverend McDaniel. He said, Reverend McDaniel, you know where he work, and you know you can get in touch with his boss, and you let him know that he's with me, and he'll be back in about a week. So put him on week leave. That's what Jesse Jackson said. Just like that. Just like that. I looked at him and said, man, it's crazy. And that's what I got to go tell my wife. He said, your preacher take care of that too, because we leaving here tonight.
Oh, wow.
I said, I ain't got no clothes. He said, we'll buy you clothes on the way. That's what the man said.
Wow.
And I'm looking at him like he is stone crazy. And so all the preachers started looking at me and talking to me and said, well, we think we can make it work.
Wow.
Well, I called my wife and told her myself, because I wasn't going to have no preacher telling my wife I'm finna go to Jackson.
Right.
And I whipped the clothes on my back. And I've been in these clothes all day long. I ain't had no shower, no nothing. So we started out on this tour across the state of Tennessee. And we're having this big argument, this discussion about why we don't need another organization in Chattanooga. I said, we got just too many organizations in Chattanooga, man. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we trying to put them into a group. We trying to put them into an organization now. When I said that, Jesse Jackson's eyes lit up. He said, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He said, I already know you got too many organizations in Chattanooga. He said, what I want Operation Push to do is to be the thread that pulls them all together like a patch quilt.
Yes.
And you call it a coalition.
Rainbow Push Coalition.
And so, and you be the coordinator of all organizations. And everybody know what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. He said, who is the legal organization? Who the organization do the legal stuff? I said, ACP.
Mm-hmm.
They said, well, they'd be your legal arm. He said, who is the politician in town? Reverend McDaniel. Well, the church would be your political arm. And he went on down the line like this. And he was right. He sold me on it. But when we got to Memphis, now this is the crazy part. When we got to Memphis, we had 50,000 people in the stadium to hear Jesse Jackson. I'm sitting there looking at this. I said, this man got some juice, you know.
Right.
And we took up a collection. Then Jesse Jackson came over me with almost $60,000 and gave it to me and said, you take care of this. I looked at him and said, what are they giving me the money for?
$60,000.
$60,000. Man gave it to me and said, you take care of this. And I'm sitting up there, $6,000, scared to death. I'm sitting back there with my back against the wall. Don't know what to do. I got $6,000 in my pocket, up in my coat.
Wow.
And he said, and he told me later, so why I gave it to you. He said, in my evaluation of people in Chattanooga, you're the most honest man in Chattanooga. That's what he said to me.
Most honest person.
Most
and
honest
still
person.
That way today.
Most honest person in Chattanooga.
Still that way today.
He said also, you know how to save money and you know how to have money. I said, how this man know all this stuff?
He watched you.
But it wasn't me, it was my wife having the money.
Y'all heard that? Behind every good man, there's a good, strong, smart woman. Y'all heard that, right? He said everybody thought he was managing the money, but it really was his wife handling the money. I love it. Give tribute to your point.
That's what happened. And that's how, and so I started trying to organize the chapter, and it was very hard to organize chapter because didn't nobody really want to be identified with it.
Why was there resistance? Why was there such a pushback in your mind to the Rainbow Push Coalition? Because you got the NAACP, you got the
Action Coordinator,
you got all these other black
Unity
groups, the Unity Group. Why were they pushing back?
And you got the Clergy Continental and all of them.
All these other black groups. So why did they push back?
Well, first of all, I found out they thought I was going to be a preacher, and that I was going to set up a church for Jesse Jackson here. That's the first thing I had to convince them of. I said, I'm not interested in being a preacher. I am not a preacher. I'm not going to be anybody's preacher. I had to convince them of that. The preachers in Chattanooga. I had to convince them.
So this little, I hate to say it, but it happens all the time. Progress is slowed down from people's perception, and when jealousy
because they
kicks
went on. See, they thought I was going to be a preacher, and they went over the pulpit up to me.
Right. Why was they against you being in the pulpit?
Because I had competition. Preachers had competition.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see that. They still like that.
Yeah, that's the way it is. That's the nature.
Still that way.
That's the nature. And so I said, I'm not interested in being a preacher. I said, I work for TVA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in being anybody's preacher. I said, I'm just trying to make an organization work. That's number one. That's the big problem we had. So I got through that problem. The other problem we had, did nobody want to be identified with the board. They didn't want nobody to say, I'm on the board of Operation Push. So I couldn't get a board. And so the person that was solving all these problems, not me, I wasn't solving the problem. I just turned the problem over to Reverend Caldwell. Reverend Caldwell would get with Reverend Jesse Jackson, they would solve the problem. So the way we solved the problem with the board, and Jesse Jackson and Reverend Caldwell got on the phone, the way they solved the problem is said, why is it people don't want to be identified? Well, you know how it is in Chattanooga, economic thing. And
here we go again.
And if we, you know, get on the wrong side of the right people, as they call them, people, they could be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happened with Martin Luther King. He wanted to preach here, and the black folk were scared that if they First Baptist Church, I'm gonna call them out on 8th Street, if they hired him for that position to be the preacher here in Chattanooga, that the white folks on the mountain would be mad, and they felt like they had a good relationship with the white folks on the mountain, and they passed Dr. Martin Luther King up. And y'all know the history. Went on Alabama, became the greatest civil rights.
But I'm gonna give you another side.
Well, give me another side, because that's the side I got.
I was a vice president in ACP when George Keith was the president. That's when we met with the Ku Klux Klan too. That's another story. George Keith was on the board at First Baptist Church when they turned Dr. Martin Luther King down.
Okay.
And he explained it to me, because I asked the same question you asked.
Right.
He explained it to me that, just think about it, if we had hired Dr. King here in Chattanooga, he's the process of grooming black preachers in Chattanooga by the power structure. Martin Luther King would have never gotten where he was.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
That's what he said.
It was in God's will for him.
That's what George Keith said.
Alabama.
That's what George Keith said. And I said, now, I looked at him and said, well, now I understand that, because I went through that process myself.
So Chattanooga is still, we're gonna kind of bring it to a closure today. So Chattanooga has come through all of this, and you've been in the thick of the civil rights movement with various organizations, all of them, NAACP, Rainbow Push Coalition, the what was the other
Action Coordinating Council.
Yes.
The Unity Group.
The Unity Group, the Black Panther Party. All of them. You done been in all of them.
That's what we call the Unity Group.
Yeah, all of them together. Yeah. You have been a part and played a big role.
I was the coordinator of all those.
The coordinator of all of these organizations. And we are here in 2024. Now I want you to sum up where we were back then, before I was even born, and all the things you went through, and where we are now, and what do we have to do? What is still the problem? If there's still a problem, what must we do to make? I'm gonna start off with just Chattanooga, because it starts at home and then it's spread abroad. What do we need to do, and what did we do wrong? What are we doing wrong now? Why?
The thing I see that we have missed is the leadership from the Black church. When we were making the greatest progress, the leadership came from the Black church. We do not have that leadership now. That's number one. The black church, if you notice, during the national movement, only time we got some real civil rights legislation passed, the black church was in the leadership. Think about it. All the civil rights bills that had failed now, we got organizations that's not connected to the church,
Not connected to
trying
the
to
church.
get legislation passed, and it's failing. It's just something about the black church that this structure responds to if they do it right. If they go about it the right way. And we're not even going about it anyway now. We just existing in our own little enclave. We're not doing anything there. That's one thing. The other thing is that on this gun control, the little children that's suffering got to speak. Adults can't speak now because you're not listening to adults. Now, why do I say little children got to speak? I saw all them little children getting shot up. I said, we got some little children in there that can really speak.
They sure can.
And little children got to speak. The reason I say that is during the civil rights movement in Birmingham, it came to a dead stop in Birmingham until they said, let the little children protest. When the little children protested in Birmingham, they turned them hoses loose on those little children, and everybody in the world saw it. And it moved the whole world.
It moved the world.
It's time for the little children to speak.
Powerful word. Powerful word. Time for the children to speak. That's the message today on WPTP 100.1 radio. You heard it from one of the greatest civil rights leaders, legendary civil rights leader of all time, here today. Said we're not going to get better. Legislation is not going to pass because the churches are not what they used to be. The leadership is not what they used to be. And it's going to take the children to speak up now because they're not listening to the elders. They're not listening to their parents, those in authority. When the children speak and you start doing things to little children and the world sees this, then you will get action. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. And on that note, I'm going to say today is Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. We still got some hope. We still got to have hope in our churches. Tomorrow, you find your church home. If you can't find a good church home or don't have a church home, listen to someone on social media. They live streaming everywhere. And if you don't want to listen to a church or a pastor, then you can always go straight to the Lord by yourself. Because church is in your heart. It's in your body. You are the church. And thank the Lord for all the things that he has done for you and all the blessings that he's done for you and your family, your children, your grandchildren. You know the story. Thank the Lord and let him know you love him. And ask the Lord to use you in a mighty way to move this country forward, not backwards, forward. And we're going to stay in prayer. This is Black History Month. And we're not finished because we'll be right back next week. But I want you all to keep this in mind. Autumn Park Development Corporation is Black-owned and operated community development corporation. And we're going to do our part to bring this community together. Black, white, Jews, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our part. And we're going to start with teaching history the right way. Got to teach it the right way. Black history is American history. American Indian history is American history. European history is American history. Hispanic history is American history. Asian history is American history. Why do I say that? Because America is one of the diverse countries in the world. And all of our history play a part in shaping this great nation that we call the United States.
Let me give a solution to one of the problems we have at the border. We're talking about all of these migrants coming in at the border. After World War II, we had the Marshall Plan. We rebuilt Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a thriving continent now. Why can't we have a same Marshall Plan for South America? That's your solution to the problem.
Wow.
A Marshall Plan for South America, and they'll stop coming.
Wow. Now that's deep. That's deep right there. And y'all, if you don't listen to our elders and what they have to say based on the wisdom and what he has already experienced and learned in life, I don't have enough wisdom and I don't have enough experience. I don't even have enough years of my life or went through anything like what the man sitting to my left has went through. I'm going to listen. I'm 58 years old. You're 80 what?
87.
87.
I'll be 88 next month.
He's 20 years older than me. 30? Whoa, Jesus. 30 years older than me. 30 years older than me. And for some of y'all, he about 50, 60, almost 100 years older than some of us that are just born recently. And God put elders in our life for a reason, y'all. Because guess what? You ain't smart enough. You ain't seen enough. You ain't experienced enough, to know what to do. You can't figure it out without your elders. And I love him for sharing his life with us. And he could go deeper, deeper, deeper. If you want to learn more about him, when we get this African American Heritage and Culture Museum completed, you can learn, because we're going to have a whole section on Johnny D. Holloway and his life. He's contributing writings and, his artifacts and pictures and things, not just about him, but all the things that he knows and the things that he has collected over the years for us to learn this history. And I'm going to make sure, as long as I'm living, that gets done. That gets done. And we're going to get a whole lot of folks involved that he approved. Because, he got me straight on something. I ain't going to even go on there and tell you what he said.
I got a surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
I found you a history teacher.
Uh-oh. What we said is that we have to have Black history taught, not just for Black people now. So don't get it twisted. It's for white folks, Black folks, Hispanic folks. I learned about your history too. I'm curious. I'm curious about where you come from and what you went through. I want to know about your culture, the type of foods that you eat, what's correct, what's not correct. I want to know all the stuff about you. So when I get with you, I want to feed you. I know what I may bring a certain dish that you really love, to the dinner, to the potluck. Let us learn and exchange things about one another. Our culture is a melting pot in this country. And that's what's going to keep us great and make us great. If we start dividing and separating and not understanding one another, we will continue to have this war. And it's time to end that war. I've ended it in my mind. But I'm going to keep fighting you, though. I'm going to keep fighting you when you come wrong. I like the way you said that. My mom and daddy taught me how to treat people. But if you treat me wrong, I'm going to defend myself. I'm not going to fight you, but I'm going to defend myself.
Yes.
That's a difference. That's a difference.
But I used to fight.
Oh, he said he used to fight. See, I ain't going to fool with him today. I'm trying to fix it up. He said, no, I used to fight. But So we want to end that on a good note today. And I'm gonna let him have the last words to close us out today. And we're gonna see y'all next Saturday at the same time.
Well, all I like to say a word about the museum. I collect a lot of artifacts. And the way I started my house, putting the museum in my house. Everywhere I went in the world, I sent something back from that part of the country. And I also have my house decorated like that, and you saw it.
Yes.
And now in my elder years, I'm getting sentimental. So I'm taking all that stuff down, and I'm gonna let it to the museum, and I'm putting pictures of my family up. Now it's time for me to recognize my family and honor my family. So you're gonna have family pictures all over my house. And that's what I'm changing that stuff out to now.
Well, praise
So-
God and bless
So it's
you.
only two of us left. So
Bless you.
That's what I'm doing. I'm putting pictures of my family all over. Everywhere I go, I see my family.
Bless you.
So I'm taking all the Black history stuff down. And I had enough of it. So I'm going to give it to y'all so everybody can see it.
And he's got some stuff, I'm telling you all. And I felt like he needed to be charging me when I went to his house and walked through the museum in his home. I felt like I was just so fascinated and just thirsty for the knowledge behind all the artifacts and the portraits and things and pictures that he's collected over the decades of time that he's been here. And so we are excited about having the opportunity with the blessings from him and others and folk that are participating with giving us our history, a place where you can come. And one day we hope that this will be on the tourist site where folks will come and bring the children from the schools. That's one of his biggest dreams.
I believe it will.
To have these kids to come here and learn about Black history and the people that are traveling through Chattanooga, to put this on the site of places to visit.
Unsanitized history.
Unsanitized history. I like that. The truth and nothing, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We got some folks gonna be donating some stuff from Madam C.J. Walker era, the straightening combs and all that stuff.
Right.
It's much part of Black history and some of the other things, the Black kings and queens. And it's just I was going through some of the things that you all have already started putting up in the building, and there was just a sense of pride that came over me. And I said, I'm a queen, a real queen.
That's right. That's what you are.
Yes. And this is my heritage. These are my ancestors.
And one other thing we like to add to it is that we don't ask money to come to the museum, but we have a little saying I hope we will put up. If you like what you see and see what you like, leave a donation.
Leave us something. Exactly.
That's right.
So
That's going to be our motto.
That's our motto. And he has spoken, and we're going to honor that all the way as long as I'm here. And we got an amazing group of people that serve on the Autumn Park Development Corporation. And we're surrounded by people that love you and want to see your dream for this community and the Black community in particular come to fruition, and the knowledge be
that museum is it.
That's it. We're
That's
going to
it.
make it happen. All right, y'all. We're going to check out you all tomorrow, Super Bowl 58. Usher Raymond, native Chattanooga, is going to be doing his thing in Las Vegas, Nevada. I saw what one of the tickets was to get in. One was $1 million. I said, whoa, $1 million. Well, that counts me out. So I'm going to be on the couch of somebody's house watching the game because they ain't charging me no $1 million to watch it. And I feel like I'm going to have a good seat because I'm going to be able to see everything. So I'm good with that. So, all right, you all be blessed. And I'll see you next Saturday.